Angelina Jolie as Elise, a woman being pursued by French police working with Scotland Yard, receives a letter in a Paris café from her former lover, Alexander Pearce. The letter instructs Elise to board a train to Venice, Italy, and find a man who resembles Pearce, making the police believe this man is Pearce. As Elise burns the letter, a mysterious stranger, unaffiliated with the police, appears to be watching her. Elise boards the train and takes a seat across from Frank, acting by Jonny Depp, an American tourist reading a spy novel. Frank is instantly captivated by Elise. Upon arrival in Venice, Elise invites Frank to accompany her on a boat to the Hotel Danieli. During dinner, Elise admits to Frank that she has feelings for another man, presumably Alexander Pearce, much to Frank's disappointment. Later, Elise and Frank share a moment on the balcony of her hotel room, which is witnessed by the men following Elise. The next day, Frank wakes up to find Elise gone. Suddenly, men attempt to break into his hotel room. Frank narrowly escapes by running across several rooftops in his pajamas, but is eventually caught by the Italian police. A sympathetic detective listens to Frank's story, where he claims he does not know why these men are after him. The detective informs Frank that the men pursuing him are Belarusians who have placed a bounty on his head, believing him to be someone else. However, the detective then betrays Frank and hands him over to the Belarusians in order to collect the promised reward. Just as the Belarusians are about to apprehend Frank, Elise appears with a boat to rescue him. They flee together, and Elise finally reveals to Frank that all of this is happening because she kissed him and made the police believe he was Alexander Pearce. Frank learns that Pearce, Elise's former lover, had stolen $2 billion from a gangster named Shaw and is also wanted by the British government for tax evasion. Frank tells Elise that he doesn't care. Elise apologizes to Frank for getting him involved and tricks him off the boat they were using to escape. Despite this, Frank professes his love for Elise. Elise then goes to a government building, revealing herself to be a British secret agent. She encounters her fellow agent, Atchison, who was among those following her in Paris. Elise explains that she was previously assigned to work undercover against her former lover, Alexander Pearce, but had disappeared from her job until now. She tells Atchison that she is ready to help him locate Pearce, as she wants to prevent anyone else from getting hurt. Elise attends a ball that Pearce has invited her to, wearing a hidden wire. At the ball, she is handed a letter by the same mysterious stranger from Paris. The letter is from Pearce, instructing her on where to meet him. As Elise turns to leave, Frank unexpectedly appears and prevents her from doing so. They dance together before Elise leaves to meet with Pearce. Agent Atchison's men then apprehend Frank. They all watch on surveillance equipment as Elise walks into a trap set by the gangster Shaw. Shaw threatens to kill Elise unless she reveals the location of the safe holding the money Pearce had stolen from him. Confident that Pearce will show up to rescue Elise, Agent Atchison chooses not to intervene for his colleague. Elise reveals the location of the safe containing the stolen money to Shaw, but does not know the code to open it. Frank watches in horror as Elise is threatened yet again. Seeing that Agent Atchison is unwilling to intervene and help Elise, Frank picks the lock on his handcuffs and escapes to go to her aid. Frank then decides to pretend to be Alexander Pearce. He tells Shaw that he will retrieve the money, but only if Elise is released unharmed first. As Frank feigns attempting to open the safe, Elise mouths the words "I love you" to him. Suddenly, Chief Inspector Jones orders the police snipers to open fire, shooting Shaw and his men. Both Frank and Elise emerge unharmed from the operation. As the police survey the aftermath, Agent Atchison is stunned that the real Pearce did not show up to rescue Elise, while the furious Chief Inspector Jones blames Atchison for exposing Elise to such grave danger. After the operation, Chief Inspector Jones informs Elise that she has been terminated from the British Secret Service. A police report then reveals that the man they had believed to be Alexander Pearce has just been apprehended. As the room clears, Elise and Frank share an embrace. Frank then asks Elise if she loves both him and Alexander Pearce. Elise honestly answers that she does. Wanting to spare Elise from this dilemma, Frank reveals that he is, in fact, the real Alexander Pearce. He demonstrates this by entering the correct code to open the safe containing the stolen money. It is revealed that Pearce had undergone plastic surgery in order to assume a new identity. Meanwhile, the man who was arrested and believed to be Pearce explains to the police that he was merely paid to pose as the notorious criminal and that he is actually just an innocent tourist. With this revelation, Elise and Frank, the real Alexander Pearce, are able to leave on a boat, finally free to be together with the stolen money. Inside the now open safe, the police discover a banker's check for the £744 million in back taxes that Pearce had owed the British government. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to subscribe.